In the next scene, we see someone cut off the head of a harpy. The person turns out to be the Duke. Willius ordered his men to look after the injured. While looking at his knights, the Duke commended them on their work. Willius turned to his left to see his son. He saw Cyan taking his blade out of the monster he killed. Willius walked up to his son and asked him about how he is adjusting to the front lines. Our boy bowed his head and told the Duke that he is learning new things every day. Willius was surprised to hear this. He assumed that his son would have complained about the front lines and returned back home. The Duke smiled at his son and commended him on his efforts. He told our boy that he is proud of him. Cyan was shocked to hear this. Willius turned around and asked his son to see him tomorrow. He told him that he has something to discuss with him. He asked our boy to come to his tent early in the morning. With a nervous look on his face, Cyan watched his father walk away. Our boy could not believe that his father was actually proud of him. Cyan had never heard his father say such a kind thing to him. In the next scene, we see a huge monster attack our boy. Cyan was able to dodge the attack. Our boy smiled when he took a clear look at the monster known as a deathworm. He could not believe that a deathworm was standing in front of him. This is because deathworms usually live deeper in the valley. While our boy was staring at the monster, Kiram spoke to him. The demonic sword noticed that her master was having trouble fighting the monster. She asked her master if he will give her the chance to take over. Cyan could not believe that Kiram would ask such a question. He told her that he will not allow her to take over. He reminded her that he is aware of her schemes. Kiram assured her master that she does not have any plans. She told him that she will use him for a bit and immediately give him back his body. While the demonic sword was talking to her master, the deathworm began to heal the wounds which Cyan inflicted on it. Kiram told her master that the deathworm can immediately heal any shallow wounds. She told Cyan that he will not be able to kill the monster if he keeps attacking it. Our boy knew that Kiram was right. He knew that the fight would go on forever if he continues to attack the monster with his current skills. It had already been a month since our boy came to the front lines. Cyan had drank the blood of countless demonic beasts, but he did not experience any improvement in his strength. Upon seeing the monster rushing towards him, Cyan decided to accept Kiram's offer. He told her that he will go along with her plan. Immediately our boy accepted her offer. Kiram began to glow. A dark aura took over our boy. His head and his entire body began to exude a dark and terrifying aura. The moment our boy's body transformed, Kiram activated the technique of the thick fog known as demonic sword manifestation. Immediately she did this. She jumped and made several cuts on the monster. The deathworm screamed out in pain. Kiram was determined to tear the monster apart. While she was in the air, the demonic sword used another technique of the thick fog. This technique is known as the 8 fluttering petals. As Kiram descended to the ground, she used the technique on the monster. The moment Kiram landed on the ground, the monster's body began to tear apart. The scene shifts and we see someone looking at the bodies of the monsters which Cyan killed. The person turns out to be Willius. The Duke was accompanied by Yulkin and other knights. The knights held different torches to brighten the dark valley. Yulkin told his master that the mana of the hunter is very imposing. He told the Duke that the monsters might have been killed by a demon. Willius became worried when he heard this. He told Yulkin that they cannot overlook the issue if a demon is involved. The Duke asked his knight to inspect the area and burn the corpses. The moment Willius said this, he realized that the sword marks on the demonic beasts looked familiar. The Duke wondered if he was experiencing some form of déjà vu. While looking around, Yulkin found something odd. He quickly returned to his master and told him that he has to check something out. Willius walked up to his knight. When his master got close to him, Yulkin raised his torch up to show him something. The Duke was shocked to see the corpse of a deathworm. He wondered about who could have killed such a powerful monster. Willius became worried. He wondered if a particular organization was the one responsible for the death of the worm. Demonic sword manifestation is an ability that lets Kiram take over our boy's body so that she can use her true power. Although this is an overpowered ability, it can also allow Kiram to completely take over Cyan's body if he lets his guard down. While looking sick on his bed, Cyan realized that it was stupid for him to use such a dangerous ability to simply take down one monster. Our boy raised his body up. He noticed that his entire body was feeling sore. Cyan could not complain about this because he already expected such side effects. Fortunately, our boy had already drank a lot of demonic beast's blood, so he was able to withstand the demonic sword manifestation. If it was a month ago, Cyan's body would have broken down. While our boy was touching his head, Kiram showed herself. The demonic sword told her master that she has finally figured him out. She told our boy that he has the appearance of a child, but he does not act like one. Kiram realized that our boy was too proficient at using her for a first-timer. Oddly enough, our boy also knew the entire geography of the valley, and he uses the same techniques as the people who belong to Mist. The demonic sword knew that someone has to train for at least 30 years to be as skilled as Cyan. Kiram remembered that our boy told her that he already died once. With a smile on her face, the demonic sword called her master a regressor. Our boy was surprised to see that Kiram was just realizing that he is a regressor. He reminded her that he already told her that he died once. Kiram was annoyed to hear this. She reminded our boy that he has never explained anything to her. Cyan told the demonic sword that he was too lazy. Kiram realized that it would have been hard to kill someone as skilled as Cyan in the past. She knew that there is only two ways for someone to kill someone as powerful as our boy. She asked Cyan if he was killed by the owner of Duran Dark or if he was betrayed. Our boy's expression changed when he heard this. Kiram asked our boy if he was killed by the owner of the Holy Sword. Cyan asked her to tell him why she asked such a question. The demonic sword reminded her master that he looked at the Holy Sword with anger in his eyes. Kiram could tell that our boy wants revenge. The demonic sword moved closer to her master. With a terrifying smile on her face, she reminded her master that she will swallow him up if she ever sees him faltering. Immediately Cyan heard this. He used his hand to knock Kiram out of his face. Our boy pushed her into his luggage. He asked the demonic sword to know her place. He told her that he is not an idiot. Immediately our boy said this. He began to smile. He was happy to see that Kiram had not changed. When our boy got dressed, he stepped out of his tent. When Cyan arrived outside, he noticed that everywhere was a bit chaotic. Emily rushed to our boy when she saw him. Cyan asked his maid if something happened. Emily revealed to our boy that a high-level monster was found near the entrance of the valley. Our boy realized that Emily was referring to the deathworm. Emily told her master that it has been quite some time since a high-level monster was found near the camp. Instead of asking about the monster, Cyan asked his maid if there is more information. Emily was shocked to hear this. She did not understand what her master was talking about. Cyan asked her if there is any information about seeing a suspicious person or about him. Before Emily could respond, Yulkin came to greet our boy. He bowed his head and told our boy that the Duke wants to see him. Our boy realized that he messed up. He could not believe that he forgot to take care of the corpses of the demonic beasts because the soldiers suddenly appeared out of nowhere. Our boy's plan to enjoy a quiet life before entering the academy might go to waste. Our boy grit his teeth in anger. When Cyan arrived at his father's tent, he bowed his head and introduced himself as the youngest of the Vert family. Our boy believes that his father already suspects him. With a serious look on his face, Willius asked his son to take a seat. Cyan, who was still bowing his head, wondered about the excuse he would give his father if he asks about the incident. While the two were seated, Willius asked his son about where he was last night. With a nervous look on his face, Cyan told his father that he went to bed early because he felt tired. The Duke found this weird. He was certain that the sword marks on the demonic beasts was quite similar to Cyan's swordsmanship. While glaring at his son, the Duke wondered if he was overthinking the situation. With an innocent look on his face, Cyan asked his father about the reason for his question. Upon seeing his son's face, Willius realized that it was impossible for such a young child to slay a deathworm. Cyan asked his father if something is wrong. Willius asked his son if he has heard about what happened at the camp. The Duke revealed to his son that the demonic beasts were probably killed by a secret organization known as Mist. Our boy acted like he was surprised when he heard this. His father told him that Mist is an organization that has existed since ancient times. No one knows the goals of the organization, but they have killed countless nobles under the excuse of purification. According to Willius, Mist assassins are famous for leaving a black fog wherever they go. After being active for such a long time, the organization suddenly disappeared one day. The last time they were seen was 300 years ago. Willius revealed to his son that the corpse of the deathworm was shrouded in black fog. The black fog is the trace left behind by Eru, the god of darkness. He is the god which the members of Mist worship, and he is the source of their powers. With a serious look on his face, the Duke told our boy that Mist might be responsible for the death of the deathworm and the other demonic beasts. Cyan was shocked to hear this. He could not believe that his father was able to precisely pinpoint the culprit. He found it amazing that his father was able to find the culprit even though Mist was last seen 300 years ago. The Duke did not understand why the organization would resurface in such a way. He asked his son to be careful. He told him that he will notify the Empire and investigate further on the issue. Cyan was relieved to hear this. He realized that his father believes his lie. Willius believed that it made no sense for Cyan to be part of such an organization when he is so young. He decided to change the topic. He asked his son if he knows the person that is coming to visit them. Cyan told his father that the Emperor is coming to their camp. He asked his father if the Emperor is coming today. Willius told his son that he is, with a smile on his face. The Duke told his son that he has a favor he wants to ask him for. Our boy was shocked to hear this. The scene shifts and we see a knight blowing a horn to signify the Emperor's arrival. The Duke and the rest of the knights bowed their heads when they saw the Emperor coming towards them. Willius introduced himself as the Lord of Velias and told the Emperor that he is honored to see him. The Emperor, who happens to be a man with white hair and blood-red eyes, smiled when he saw Willius. The Emperor came down from his horse and grabbed the Duke. He asked Willius to stop being polite. He reminded him that they are friends. The Duke was surprised to hear this. The Emperor noticed that Cyan was kneeling next to his father. He asked Willius if Cyan is his son. Our boy greeted the Emperor when he heard his voice. He introduced himself as the youngest of the Vert family. The Emperor could not believe that a boy as young as Cyan was residing in such a rough environment. He told the Duke that his children must be built different. While kneeling, Cyan could not believe that this was the favor his father asked of him. Our boy could not believe that his father simply wanted him to appeal himself as his son. In our boy's past life, he was cooped up in the mansion whenever the Emperor came to visit. Cyan was happy to see that his father trusted him enough to introduce him. The Emperor told Willius that he also has someone to introduce to him. Immediately he said this. Someone opened the door of one of the carriage. The princess stepped out of the carriage and bowed her head. She introduced herself as Erin Severus, the fifth princess of the Empire. Our boy immediately recognized Erin. He remembered her as the tragic fifth princess. Before the Emperor's arrival, Willius had told his son that he will need to escort Erin for a day. Our boy was surprised to hear this. Upon seeing the look on his son's face, Willius asked him not to worry. He told our boy that he simply needs to keep the princess company. He explained to him that he and Erin are the same age. He reminded our boy that he will see the princess once he gets to the academy. Cyan remembered seeing the princess in the academy in his past life. He saw her in some classes. The Duke assured his son that it will be beneficial if he gets acquainted with someone from the royal family. He told Cyan that he will not have to stay with Erin for long. He asked his son to get along with the princess. Our boy did not want to do this at all, but he understood his father's intentions. Cyan knew that his father wanted him to develop the same friendship he has with the Emperor. Unfortunately, Willius chose the wrong royal for our boy. Cyan knew that the princess cannot become his friend. Although our boy knew this, he could not share it with his father because he was the only one aware of the future. Our boy decided to play along with his father's wishes. While the group was checking the camp area, Erin noticed that the river was red. She asked our boy to tell her why it is red. Cyan referred to the river as the Blood River. Our boy told the princess that the river runs through the entire valley. According to Cyan, demonic beasts who are old or injured and can no longer fairly compete with other beasts for survival instinctively jump into the Blood River. The monster's corpse and bodily fluid will then melt into the river, making the river red from the decomposition of mana. Erin was shocked to hear this. She could not believe that the river was filled with the bodily fluids of demonic beasts. Our boy revealed to her that other demonic beasts drink and wash in the river. He told her that the river is very disgusting. He asked her not to get into it. Erin felt disgusted when she heard this. She asked our boy to tell her what is at the end of the river. Cyan told the princess that the demon realm is where the river ends. Erin was surprised to hear this. With a smile on his face, Cyan told the princess that she can meet the Demon King if she keeps following the river. Erin was shocked to hear this. Our boy was happy to see the look on the girl's face. He found it amusing to tease the princess. While the two were talking, they see a bright light in the sky. Someone shot a flare up. Erin asked our boy about the light. Cyan realized that the flare came from the 3rd sentry post. He told the princess that the yellow light signifies that the demonic beasts are coming. Erin was shocked to hear this. She could not believe that demonic beasts were coming to them. The Duke immediately ordered the knights to protect the Emperor. He asked the Guardian Knight Division troops to follow him to the 3rd sentry post, which is in the west. The moment Willius said this, the Emperor asked him to stop acting weird. He took out his sword and told the Duke that he did not come to the front lines to take a hike. He told Willius that he was already starting to get bored. Willius became worried when he heard this. The emperor turned around and told his knights that they will join the raid. He asked them to focus on killing the demonic beasts until the raid is over. The knights accepted their master's orders. Willius turned to Cyan and asked him to join the raid. Aaron was shocked to hear that our boy was going to fight the monsters. Cyan told her that he usually supports from behind. He asked the princess to return to the camp. Aaron asked our boy to take her with him. Cyan was shocked to hear this. He did not understand why the princess was spouting nonsense. Aaron's maid was also shocked to hear what she said. Aaron told our boy that she can join since she is the same age as him. Cyan was surprised to hear what the princess was saying. He told the girl that people die in the front lines. He reminded her that she is not at a playground. Like a spoilt brat, Aaron told our boy that she does not care. She told him that nobody can stop her from going. Our boy snapped when he heard this. He called out to Yulkin. Immediately our boy called his name. Yulkin appeared behind Aaron. He told our boy that he will substitute the royal knights by escorting Aaron back to the camp safely. The knight asked Aaron to follow him. The princess was shocked to see Yulkin behind her. She pointed at our boy and called him an impudent knight. She could not believe that Cyan would treat a princess in such a rude manner. Our boy became sick of the princess. He moved close to her and stared at her with a horrifying look in his eyes. He told the princess that dozens of knights might die because of her stubbornness. He explained to her that a split-second decision can decide one's fate in war. With a menacing look in his eyes, our boy asked the princess if she can take responsibility for the lives of the knights. Aaron began to cry when she heard this. Cyan turned around and asked the princess to return to the camp if she is going to cry. Aaron and Yulkin watched as our boy walked away. The scene shifts, and we see the knights getting destroyed by giant snail monsters. Willius raised his sword and asked his knights to get into formation. He ordered them to protect the emperor and slay the monsters. The duke ordered his men to not spare any monster. Immediately the knights heard Willius' orders. They ran to attack the monsters. Guys, we have come to the end of our video. If you guys want part 5 of this recap, let me know in the comments section. Don't forget to like and smash that subscribe button for more recaps. See you guys later.